Hi, race fans. Here we go. We got a good one tonight here. Spartan Sim Racing League Master Series. And boy, I tell you what, Kansas, and that old saying about Kansas, well, me and Toto back in Kansas, I guess. Hey, should be a good solid one tonight here. The Master Series has been a really good solid one. They're in a little warm-up right now, and qualifying came to close. But, Wes, I mean, this can be a kind of a trickier style track tonight.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I didn't follow the actual Cup race today, so I don't know what all to expect. Honestly, I forgot a little bit of what we had last time out at Kansas because it was only race 2 of the season. So I'm not sure exactly what to carry over from there to tonight. Kansas, though, just based off memory from what I knew, it's kind of a one-lane track, so it's going to be a little bit hard to pass.
Yeah, and we see that kind of in the real world too. Like what you just said. Sometimes tends to kind of go to the top side. Now, with that said, I always can be fooled. I mean, obviously this is this is not a fixed setup. These guys do have their own setups and are able to kind of do what they want to do. As far as getting the car, the way they want to drive it, loose, tight, et cetera. But I'm with you. Tends to, if we get a long green flag run, we'll go one single groove. The restart's going to be hectic because it's your typical 1.5 mile. They're hectic because it's very tough to pass here, and I think track position is very crucial. So you try to get everything you can on those restarts, and sometimes it tends to be a little hectic on them.
Yeah, just a little bit. Like I said, I don't remember how the racing was last time we were out here, but I can tell you what, we had 16 cautions. I think most of those were under the restart with that chaotic restart like you just mentioned.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm with you on that one. I think it's going to be like, it's almost like the Charlottes and tracks like that where after a while of running, it kind of gets, not want to say spread out, but kind of single file, very tough to pass because the tires start going away a little bit. Plus, aero plays a huge factor here. Now, again, I am referencing off of a lot of, fixed style setups, but, we might see a little bit different. But even in the real world, I mean, it tends to be that way. Maybe for the first 10, 15, heck, I'll go out on a limb and say maybe 20. You might see some good side-by-side cluster battles, but then all of a sudden, like you said, it kind of tends to go to that one groove style track.
Yeah, and I think it's just going to be a lot of follow the leader. We're going to see what we typically see, where we see like they're not packs, but cluster races, where it's a couple of guys, 3, maybe 4 of them on top of each other, and just slowly picking the way through traffic one by one.
Yeah, then there you go, and that's about how you have to do it here. If your qualifying effort's not the greatest, you got to come through the field. There's only a couple ways, obviously pit stops, cautions, like what you just said, maybe if you've got a good long run setup style car, save a little bit, come through the field. The problem with a lot of times that I see, and again, I'm going to reference off the fixed setup, is that if you're too conservative at one like this, by the time you do catch up, it's pit stop time. And then the guy out front who did get the big lead, even though you might have reeled him in, even if you caught him, well, guess what? The cycle starts over again. He's going to get new tires, and then boom, just go, take off to that big lead again. So it's kind of like a never-ending roller coaster unless you catch him with the right caution at the right time.
Yeah, right caution, right time. That's always a thing. You kind of got to strategize for green and cautions. And that's one thing I always like to know is if people had a plan coming into the race about whether it was going to be green, whether they're going to see how cautions fell. Kind of got to strategize for both of them. In more recent races, we've had those long green flag runs. Then we've had a green flag run, what we expect to be a full tank of fuel, be split in half by caution. And we've seen some come in, some stay out. So it's going to be a little bit interesting to see how their strategies go throughout the field.
Also, too, we've still got the admin box, championship running right there. Let me see if I can't find a little more info of that one. Obviously, last week was a really, really good one. It did update here, and so this week the we had the loser bracket kind of last week we were looking at, and this week now it's kind of like both of them together, the winner loser brackets together. So you got Grussmacher, Carr, Boyles, Cole Macheski, Jorgensen, Genningsman, Hammonds, and Clore are those two are out of all those, they're looking to kind of get it down to 4 cars from that point, and then at the top bracket they're going to go into the winner's circle again.
Yeah, and when we said Carr, that's Alex Carr, the 21 that is up against Dylan. And I also spoke with Dylan. I kind of feel like I've become close. I could just talk with him every now and then. He liked this race. He won it when we were here earlier in the season. He feels like he can go out and win it again, but he also feels like he's a little bit pressured just of how consistent Alex is.
I'll tell you what, warm-ups come to a close. I'm going to get set here to go green flag racing tonight. Ought to be a good one. Like you said, pace yourself, but let's look at the grid really quick here. As the man out front, Chris Vincent puts it on pole tonight with Jeremy Sumter there in second. And we just talked about Genningsman, a good starting spot for him there tonight, along with Grussmacher right there starting in fourth. Hammond starting fifth. We got Shane Clore, that is, in sixth. Justin Boyles there in seventh. Timothy Latham starting in eighth. Mark Sanchez in ninth. We got Kyle Gerlach, he's starting 10th. Thomas Komacheski there in the 12th, and Alex Carr, you just mentioned him, he's starting in the 12th place spot. Flip it over here to 13th. We got Kyle Westwood. And old Blair Holloman started in the 14th. David Fuge Jr. there in the 15th. Jose Medina, he's out here in the 16th, 17th. Joshua Hyatt, 18th. Art Nicotera, 19th. Got J.P. Jones, 20th. Colton Gardner, 21. We got Michael Seymour, 22. We got old John Bender. Chad Kibbe there in the 23rd. And Greg Carr starting back in the 24th spot. So if I had to look at this field right now, I'd say Carr's looking like he's going to have to come through that field pretty good right here. Most of the guys that we talk about, though, Genningsman actually with a great starting spot here tonight. Normally struggles a little bit in qualifying. He's admitted that in the past, but gotten a lot better as the season has went on. So up there, man, starting in that round about the 4th place spot. And Grussmacher's there, Hammond's there. So what I can see right now, some of the top players, Wes, not really having to go too far from the back. I know Wes, just apologize, folks, man. Wes says he's been feeling a little bit under the weather, so if he goes quiet a couple times, that's why. So, hey, man, I tell you what, like I said, well, just got a few little track notes, man, here about Kansas. We were talking about it there a little bit. Obviously 1.5 mile. It's got a progressive style banking to it, which it's something that NASCAR went to. It's been around for a while now on a lot of these tracks, but it's just something that they went to years back. Wall riding, we talked about that in the warm-up. It's a top dominant track. We're going to see it, I think, here, but pace trucks in. We're going racing. We got Vince and Sumter and company up front. We're going to see who can get out of this thing here tonight. Who's got the long run style car, I feel like, here. But green flag, we're racing Kansas.
Vincent, pretty good jump, though. It wasn't immediately clear of Sumter, which has been a while since we've seen that 52 on track.
Yeah, Vincent right there on the outside, he was able to get up front. Sumter there instantly. Those two go single file. And we talked about, trying to get everything you can on these restarts. I mean, you can see Sumter trying already to see if he can't get up there a few more. Ginning's been hanging on that third. As you see the battle for the lead. So I go back to what we talked about it in the warm-up there. The restarts, I think it's crucial because even though this might be just a 1.5 mile track, I feel like dirty air affects you just like a lot of the other tracks here, really bad.
I think it does, and since everything's kind of a one-lane track, dirty air is going to play a lot of part in it today. You want to be out front as and clean air as big as possible.
Kyle Westwood says he went off track. Let's go back here and see what maybe happened to him here. No caution, but number 92 back there. He got on it. Samuel Adams. I hope he's not drinking while he's out here driving. It's going to look like it here in a second. We've in the past here while we're watching this, and it just pulls off the track down low. Maybe something happened, technical problem.
I think they're having that discussion. Yeah, it was a technical problem. His screen went black for a moment.
Okay. Good job on his end, sportsmanship there. So Hammond's right now, man, giving old Ginningsman everything he can in his rearview mirror. We've talked about it in the past here, West. You know, we've seen a lot of these cars, you know, jump out from under each other. This track, I think, tends to be a little bit on the tighter side, and we talked about that last week, you know, because you can, you know, with them being open setups like they are here, just like in the real world, you might go too far as trying to loosen this thing up. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Right now, these cars look pretty stable on this track.
Yeah, and it's always going to be, typically we can easily tell if they set it way too loose early on. But further in the run, we might see them kind of loosen out, snap a little bit. I know during practice, I saw a couple guys, they'd snap mid-corner and they'd chase it up and keep it underneath them. And not a lot with really a loop that we've seen in times past.
Yeah. I was looking at a little bit of the notes, and it's interesting because we just talked about this right here. As the run goes on, it says they tend to kind of maybe free up the car to help on the long run. That right there tells me right off the bat, and what we're seeing is it's really tight style track, which makes it a little more difficult to pass, you know, and that's why you want to be really aggressive on the start, because, you know, even if when it loosens up, and that means it's going to make it even more, you know, worse to try to pass as the race goes on. So something to keep an eye on. Cole Macheski right there, man, sitting in ninth. And yeah, and another thing we can look at too here, Wes, is obviously lap times. I mean, you know, right now the leader, a 30-17. I'm looking all the way back to the top 11, 30-21. That's only what, a half a tenth or so. And that's nothing. So that tells you right there just how tough and just how, you know, even most of these cars are just for the top 10.
Yeah, and everybody's just kind of minding their time. They're not really trying to drive over aggressive, as we see Grutzmacher. He's to the outside of Boyles, I believe. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was trying to get to that, and now he's going to try to go to the outside of Ginningsman. I think Grutzmacher wants to make the high line work early here.
And we can see that. I said around 10 to 20. We're already right at lap 8. You can already see that high lane coming in, and that's just how this track is. I mean, you're going to see these guys typically go to the top as those tires kind of wind out, and you can see it's actually working out for Grutzmacher right now. Boyle's kind of following. It's again Ginningsman. He's going to, you know, drop back there in the lane. Curiosity though, man, I got to see back here our man. Yep, he's in our Marlboro car. I don't know. I still like them paint jobs. Don't mess it up tonight, though.
I do too. I love always looking at him with you, and always interesting to see which one he'll pull out each and every race.
Yeah, man, I don't want to take anything else away from, you know, all the other ones. It's just something about the way that paint scheme, I don't know, cracks out and the way it looks. I don't know how the color scheme and so forth's on, but little battle going on there. You see J.P. Jones right in front of them, Aaron Gardner, Nicotera. You know, as you can see, that outside lane for those guys are working pretty good. Mark Sanchez right there along with them, Hyatt in the back. So, you know, right now the only car that actually is a lap down is Greg Carr. So something must have happened to him on the start there.
Drive-through penalty to start the race.
Oh, man. Well, Grutzmacher's got that high lane going pretty good here early on. So that might be something that, you know, we did just, you know, keep a close eye on, you know, how well he's doing. You can see right there the car's starting to bobble a little bit, but yeah, he's got the high lane rocking pretty good.
He does. He dropped one position from the start. He started fourth and he dropped all the way back to fifth for a moment. And I think he lost a couple more, and now he's getting it back as he had a run there off of 2. Vincent came up right in front of him. Now he's going to duck low.
Yeah, you see it right. So that means he's got a good setup style car early on. I mean, you know, with us being right there. Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, good save on his end. But, man, just as I was about to say, he's got a good setup car. It comes out from under him. We did see it bobble a little bit on that one turn. So that kind of tells me that, you know, it probably was a little bit tight. Just, you know, maybe, you know, wanted a little bit freer. That's why he went up top early on. And then as soon as he went down the bottom, and that's why, you know, I mentioned that earlier there, Wes. The later on in the run, you want to tend to go to that top side, and even though the car might get loose, it's going to be tough to still pass on the inside. And we just saw it right there. Good save on his end, though. That Cole Macheski been a little nervous up front.
Maybe just a little bit. You mentioned the little bobble that we saw, so I was just wondering if him going up that early would have been any problems about over wearing the tires, over stressing them. But like you said, amazing save.
Well, again, being an open setup, I'm not 100% sure. And I'm an old school person when it comes to that. Obviously, the progressive banking and stuff like that, the tracks have changed a lot. Because used to in the racing world, you stressed the tires if you stayed low. You saved the tires when you went higher on the track because you weren't trying to pinch them down. That's changed over the years. Sometimes they say, well, maybe you go up high, man, you actually use the tires up. You can go low and actually save them. And I'm like, man, kind of counterintuitive is what it sounds like. But
a little.
What's that?
I said a little. It does sound, because trying to force it on the bottom is typically turning more wheel into it.
That is how I came about in the years when watching racing, but with the design of the tracks now, and obviously the cars and tires too have changed tremendously over the years and whatnot. It has changed the way it is. Plus aerodynamics play a huge factor. I mean, back when I was, it was boats on wheels. It was all horsepower, but. Nowadays these things are so aero, and we've mentioned that too. They're so aero dependent that a little bit of wrinkle on the fenders can just cause that whole car to act way different setup wise.
Yeah, and it's just everything's so dependent on aero. It's not. You can't really drive. You can drive up to somebody. We've said this. Driving up to them might be easy. You might have half a tenth and be able to drive up to them. But then I remember we talked about this. It might take 2-3 tenths to actually be able to get past them easily. Otherwise, You're stuck battling side by side and you cost each other time.
My thing is, I look at these lap times, I just by watching and studying and seeing all kinds of different races, what it takes just to go up there and just shoot right past somebody, unless they make a mistake. Like right there with Hammonds, he did bobble on the wall a little bit, but even with that bobble, it definitely Vincent ran a 72, Hammonds ran an 89, Vincent ran a 72. So yes, that time right there, Vincent could have just shot right by him. He chose to stay on his back bumper there, but he was well over probably a tenth and a half. I'm gonna say it's going to take a tenth and a half to 2 tenths. Unless Hammonds keeps doing that, it's not going to. But, to me, it's going to take right around that 2 tenths mark for somebody just to come up to you and just make a clean, right off the bat pass. If not, it's going to take about a lap or two at a track like this before they are, unless your car does get a little loose. Because we're seeing it right now. I mean, Sumter, out front, he ran an 82. He's a tenth off Hammond. But right there, Vincent ran that last lap by 73. I mean, there's just no way. Now we're looking at them side by side. Let's just see how long it takes him. Hammond's been having a problem, so maybe not the best one. He's popped that wall a couple times. We'll watch Cole Macheski and kind of maybe see, who's that, Boyles, and see what he can do with Vincent here. Because Boyles is actually coming up. He ran a 67 to a 77, so he's about a tenth faster.
Yeah, and I think Sumter, he's seeing everybody fighting behind him, and he's just kind of smiling right now as well, because he knows this is going to cost them time. He can kind of stretch his gap out. And I was just looking at estimated fuel. You're looking about 60 laps on a full tank, and that's what we run here. So about halfway or so, not halfway, a third of the way through that fuel life. And these guys, so that's about 3 stops.
Yep.
Yeah, 3 stops on for a full tank, and they've got 4 sets of tires in the pit, so they can only stop the 3 times if their tires will last it.
Okay. Perfect example what we were just talking about right there is the battle here with Boyles and Vincent. Yeah, they get into each other a little bit, but just an example right there. They were so close. I mean, Boyles for that last lap was about a half a tenth faster, but you saw he went to the inside, still couldn't make that pass. So. That's exactly what I was talking about earlier. And I can see him maybe trying to cool the tires down. Vincent blinking just a little bit. What you want to see is Boyles.
No, and it kind of throws you off as well, just as somebody who's been in the car with that happen in front of them. It throws you off. You got to be patient because you don't know where they might be, especially in the middle of a turn.
Yeah, a lot of times, and if Vincent does stay down low, Boyles right there, Boyles going to try to see if he can't crisscross him. He's got a run coming out of the bad stretch. Here we're going to see, though, can he make it? And see right there in the middle of the turn, that car gets instantly tight and drives up the track. And then this right here is what I'm talking about. This what makes it so hard to pass here. You might get him on this next turn because he had a pretty good run going into that turn. It's just this is what I'm talking about. See how it took him almost a lap, pretty much a lap just to get around. He's still not around
He's still
him
not
yet.
clear.
Yeah. Because that car gets so tight in the middle off, you need that high lane. I mean, look at him. He could drive it in the inside, but then right there, just in that middle, it's almost like a brick wall. It stops.
Hold on there. That was tight on exit. And Vincent, he's also not making it easy for Boyles to get past him. He's kind of giving him a little bit of a squeeze through entry and then on exit as well. And it also doesn't help Boyles probably to run that line better. He'd want to be all the way on the outside wall into the entry to kind of get a better angle. And just being a little bit narrower, he's got to back off the gas a little bit more, a little bit longer.
Yeah, you're right. You just see it right there. He also lost that spot to Hammonds. Hammonds able to take it over from him. The Boyles falls back there to the fourth. Almost brought Cole Macheski into the picture for battling. They got a little bit of gap here. Guinea's been running there in the sixth place spot. Shane Clore been having a pretty good run here in the seventh. Holloman has hands full. He's got Latham right there with him too. And let's see who's got the 10th place spot. Old Gerlach. So those three cars, man, nose to tail right now. Still committed to the bottom, and most guys are. Looks like they're committed to that bottom or middle lane right now. Not seeing really anybody go tremendously up top yet.
I haven't seen that yet either. We saw Dylan. He kind of started working it early. As Blair, he's all the way to the wall now.
There you go, man. He goes way up on the top side. So, I mean, really the only one we saw earlier, like I said, was Grusmacher. And then, instantly, as soon as he went down low, that car just snapped out from under him. I think now he's pretty much just going to ride back and say, okay, probably wait till that first pit stop, make a few little adjustments to see what he's got. A good battle here, though. Hammonds, Boyles. Let's see if Hammonds can make that pass on the inside. He tried it. I'll say it's going to be a tough one here tonight. I mean, making that pass on that bottom lane.
I think in order to get that run through the bottom to make the pass work, you're going to need a monumental run on them from the corner before, and you're going to have to really dive it on in, slide job, get it up in front of them, and then just back the car up, and hopefully they don't cut back down below you.
Or just get up there and squeeze them in the wall.
Prefer not to do that, but you can do that as well.
Yeah, I mean, you got to throw out all the options. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. But I mean, last lap, everything goes. You might see some pretty much aggressive driving like that, but we'll have to wait and see how that one plays out. Right now, man, Boyles is going to go way up there to the top side. Good run so far. It's all Sumter out front leading it. He's been a man right now. Boyles now, he goes to the outside, man, and finally, I said finally going to make it around Vincent, but
I think he's going to be clear here.
Yep.
Yeah.
He finally got it. So I think that's the way you got to do it. Make that guy make a mistake, get to the outside of him, and make the pass. I don't know. I mean, yeah, Sumter right now been out there by himself, has stayed pretty much on that bottom lane, but
once someone gets to him, I think he'll change it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go along with what you said there, because it's to me, from what I can see, trying to pass on that bottom is just not. I don't know if it's going to happen late in the race. It's probably going to be very tough.
Now, it might happen on a restart if some guys don't pit and some guys do.
Yeah, and and that's another whole subject. We bring up later in the race, depending on if we get a caution and if it mixes up pit strategies, how these guys might have their pit strategy. Some might be on older tires, newer tires. Now, then it also brings up that one conversation I always like talking about is new tires worth the trade-off of losing track position as opposed to how much you can gain. If we're talking 40 laps, 50 laps to go in a race, and you're going to start back in 20th, maybe 22nd, as Boyles is off the track. Ooh, he got damage. Well, see what happened to him here. He hit something.
I noticed somebody mowned the dirt through the tri-oval.
Yeah, we're watching the replay here of Boyles, and he got front end damage from somewhere. Like Vincent was able to get back, or he got to the leader at the wall, and then unfortunately him and Vincent. Let's rewind that back, just to rewind it back and watch her at maybe watch from a blimp view here. So the leader lost it, and then those two nowhere to go. Ooh. See Komacheski, man, Ginnings when the company able to make it through, but man, that right there is going to hurt.
Yeah, and Vincent, he didn't fall as far back as Boyles or Sumter did.
Yeah,
but that nose damage is going to hinder him.
You can see him right now. It's already, Boyles already just dropping. Hopefully didn't do any motor damage. You see Vincent right now, he's there in 6th, and no fast fixes here in this series, folks. So it's the Master Series. What you got, it's almost like real life. You wreck the car. And we've seen what happened there before. I call it kind of tunnel vision. You're out there, you're following a guy in front of you. Next thing you know, he goes towards the wall, and you end up kind of just following him into the wall. And if he hits the wall, guess what? You're right there in the back end of him.
A little bit of follow the leader. I'm doing some practices with some of the guys for Monday. It's kind of happened where we're all just in a line relaxing, and then all of a sudden off of like 2 or off of 4, we all end up hitting the wall the exact same area.
Yeah. And really just, nothing that Vincent and Boyles could have done, and that right there, the leader, man, out front, Sumter, and you can see him falling back all the way to 15th, so could have hurt the tires a lot on that car or whatnot, but just, luckily held on to it. It just went around, and unfortunately Vincent and Boyles, wrong place, wrong time.
Just a little bit in Boyles' car. I'd say that might have been the car that got the worst. He got both front and rear damage, I'd say.
And you can see when we're watching Sumter right there, you saw that car, it kind of almost came out from under him, so it's becoming a little bit free.
I would definitely say that's the case. He might also be over driving it, trying to not lose as many positions as possible. Oh, and there he goes again.
Yeah. I'm probably going to see him on, he's coming on pit road. He's probably time tires. A little early, but yeah, maybe make those adjustments. Meanwhile, up front, Hammond's got the second. Komacheski leading this one right now. Shane Clore right there along with him in 3rd. Ginnings still hanging to 4th. But Komacheski's found his way up here, man, in the lead, the 1.5 seconds. So we talked about pit strategy, and they look pretty stable up front.
I think so, and a lot of these guys, they're committed, like you said as well, running the bottom. Somewhere where you're able to conserve a little bit more. We already talked about whether or not that's realistic based on what we kind of knew in the past. But that's the way I was told by my coach when running iRacing. The bottom helps you conserve because it keeps heat out of your tires. So they're kind of committed to that. Trying probably for a long run is what they're all anticipating.
Yeah, and just to bring that up, touch on it in a minute. Yeah, we even in the real world, we see the guys running really low. later on into the run, as the tires wear, they kind of tend to maybe go up the track a little bit. Maybe just kind of because having to chase the car if the rear end actually starts to become loose down on that bottom. So, yeah, I mean, evidently it's fast around the bottom, which is the shortest way around the track. But I would, you know what, that is something I'd be interested to hear from in the real world if running that bottom chews the tires up on most tracks. Now, I mean, not all, but on a lot of tracks, especially the 1.5s or whatnot, running the bottom chews the tires up a little bit more than what running high is. And maybe the reasoning behind that, I don't know if I might do some research on it and see if anybody out there in the chat might know. Is got any mad scientists out there, man, throw it out at us. Yeah.
I mean, I can definitely ask people that work in the shop and did tires and stuff in the old days, but nowadays don't really have somebody that can tell me that.
And that's what I'm saying. See, back then, tires were tires. I mean, they were going to wear out no matter what. But those cars, basically brakes on wheels. We talked about the aero. With these cars here, they're so air dependent. They turn a lot with the air. They're not as mechanically set up like they were back in the day. And that's the word that they use in the real world. Aero setup as opposed to mechanical setup. A lot of drivers, especially some of the veterans, prefer the more mechanical one as opposed to this one, because you really have to drive the car. You're not dependent on that car kind of giving you the aero and all. And we've heard the arguments with the next gen car. Oh, it's too easy to drive, when it came out. And, we're just out there just riding and turning, as opposed to maybe like the Gen 4, Gen 6 car. Yeah, somewhere that, yeah. Those errors, even maybe the 2003 car, where those things tend to be like wild animals. I mean, you had to really had a lot of horsepower and had to really just kind of just drive them around the track.
Yeah, and I think a big way to show that is kind of the road courses.
Yes.
When you think about it, you had your road course ringers, then you had your full-time guys, and then you had your full-time guys that were good on road courses. Yep. I think one of the best ways to show that, I cannot tell you the year, but Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, and Marcus Ambrose, that finish.
Yeah.
Ambrose, he came from V8 supercars. He absolutely not mollywopped, because Busch and Brad Keselowski were able to put up a fight. But at Watkins Glen, Ambrose just showed that his experience, he knew how to drive a road course and how to handle that car better than the guys that are there and have been there for seasons.
And you see that a lot too, man, now in even on the iRacing course and even in real world, and out with the next gen car, which is where we're at here tonight with the Master Series. So that car tends to be more road course ready style car as opposed to the older. What was the one guy that always stepped in?
Borset.
Yep, that's it. Borset. Yep, you're right. That's a perfect example of when he got into one, boy, he could just wheel it around and whatnot. So, wasn't the best when it came to the oval side in those cars, but on a road course, he could wheel it around and whatnot. But look at Kibby, man. Look at Kibby up 18 spots already here and coming alive, man, late in this race.
And it's a little bit of just making sure you keep your car clean, which always the name of the game. It helps you stay fast. You don't get damaged. You don't get a parachute on your nose or on your fender or on your ear somehow, and helps you move up through the field. So good run for him. We saw the 45 win here earlier today. He might try to make it twice in a day.
Yeah. So Kibby right now, man, it's up 19th, coming through the field. It's about 3.5 seconds back for Komacheski and Clore there. He should be able to run down Gerlach here pretty soon. Another one back there behind him, man, John Pender coming up. And, we touched on this, man, back in, warm-up. Is it worth men holding back? Maybe coming through the field late. I mean, as far as Kibby goes,
and I think he just went into pit road. He's going for pit stops.
Yeah, he is. I mean, we're 53 into it. Kibby now the car coming to life, so he's definitely got it set up for a long green flag run. Question goes in is can he run down Cole Macheski? His last lap was an 01. Cole Macheski had a 97, so a little bit off from what the leaders are, but he is running. That time he ran a 95, and actually Cole Macheski. What happened to Cole? He's going around lap traffic. That's why. Okay.
It's not lap traffic. That's him fighting to keep the lead.
Oh, my bad. Never mind. Yeah, I don't even know what I was looking at. Okay, so that's what I was wondering, why his lap time that time went down way big. But this is definitely going to help out Kibby and him, run them down. If they keep up here battling, flooring him. Let's see if Floor's able to make that pass on the low side here.
Or he's been really good at about keeping it on that low line, and he's had some good exits. He's ran down Cole Macheski from the bottom line when Cole Macheski's kind of been middle top.
Yeah, he looks pretty stable down there too. Earlier we saw cars may get a little bit loose, but
there he goes.
Oh yeah, Cole Macheski just drove that thing out of the turn. Unfortunately, popping the wall, and we said that earlier in the race. Make a mistake, next thing you know, the guy behind you is going to, capitalize on it. There's Kibby. He's still trying to run down Gerlach slowly but surely. I mean, your top four right there, 20, 53, 36, 29. Cole Macheski obviously, bumping that wall a little bit hurt him, but still all these guys right on. Whoa! Car ran up on Kibby. They ran up on another car that actually was going on pit road. It was Gerlach. And Alex, man, had to get out of it heavy. Caught him at the wrong time. It looks like scheduled pit stops.
Yeah, and I think those have started right now, so it's going to be interesting to see how the blend's going to work, who comes in for fresh tires as people are on older tires and everything.
Absolutely. As you see, the leaders yet to come on pit road, but Clore's out front there with Kibby. We'll see when they come in. Cole Macheski coming on pit road there with Hammonds. Genningsman has yet to come in, so right now still got about 16 machines yet to come in. A few other ones coming in here a little bit earlier. I'd be almost at a loss right now, other than what we saw with Grussmacher earlier from the front guys. Where do you go with the car? I mean, Grussmacher obviously, okay, I got a little bit too free, maybe tighten it up just a little bit, but Clore and Cole Macheski and Kibby and all them have run pretty solid. Those cars have not slipped or anything. So, we don't talk about this or mention it a lot, but when you have a car that's running that good, you always want to change something. We got a caution. Whoa. Sumter. Our pole sitter. What happened to him? Him and he got into Boyles.
Boyles coming down. Sumter was tracing up.
Yeah. You got together a little bit. Wow. All right, caution out. So that actually, that hurt Cole Macheski because he did not get the lucky dog. Greg Carr did. Definitely helped the top 16 out there a little bit, but go back to a little bit of what I'm saying, because now since we are going to see pit stops here, your car's running so great. What do you change? I mean, obviously you've got to try to keep up with it. You can't just go, just leave it alone. I guess you could, but you don't know when the next pit stop's going to be. What do? You go, okay, let's, I don't know, free it up a little bit, see what it does. What would you do in Clore or Kibby's position?
If I was Clore and Kibby, I agree. You can't just not touch the car. You've got to do something. Just based off of what you might have ran in practice, how the track's going to change, I'd try to adjust to that.
Right.
Maybe loosen it a little bit or tighten it a little bit, knowing how your car will handle it. But you can't just not touch it and let it go.
Right, yeah. And we see that in the real world too. They talk about that. We can't just leave it alone. They're always usually making, even if your car is running just, almost dead on perfect, lap after lap. You're always going to make some small adjustments. So if I was Clore, I probably would say, okay, let's slightly loosen it up a little bit. It seems really stable. I was stable when I made that pass down low. Rear end didn't seem like it was getting out from under me. Okay, let's loosen it up just a little bit, and then we'll see what happens. He does have a little bit longer pit stop for some reason. He could have.
Vincent, I think he might repairing that damage.
Okay, my bad. Clore. That's what I was talking about. Talking about Clore. I definitely would maybe try to free it up a little. Don't go too wild, just a little bit. The car was handling great. It was sticking. I was fast on the long run. It seemed like I had, kind of a medium to long run. It was good there, good enough on the short run that I was able to stay, with them. So yeah, that's probably what I would do. I probably would actually just, kind of free it up just a little bit, and see, and then go from there. If we go in the next pit stop, you can sit the end and it's too loose. Well, you always got that option. All right, go back to the way it was.
We talk about making the incorrect adjustment, going away from what you want to do.
Yep.
And we've also talked about going far too much in the direction you want to.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a lot of touchy.
It's a double-edged sword,
touchy,
really.
I mean really small adjustments, but yes, it is a double-edged sword.
Yeah, because you really your first mindset is, man, I really don't want to touch this thing. If you start in the real world, if you was telling your crewman, your crew chief would be like, well, what do you want to do? What you think? How the car is? It's great. That's what you tell me. The crew chief's going to be up there going, well, I know it's great now, but
it's not going to be great in about 100 laps.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The track's going to get a little hot, going to get this and that. Air's going to change, so we're going to do something. And a lot of times they'll say, well, whatever you want to do, then you do it, and we'll go from there. But paint truck's in. Clore and Company up front. Here we go. Going back green here tonight. Spartan Sim Racing League Master Series here. Clore out front. Got out front,
launch.
man, earlier. Absolutely he did. Sanchez right there along with him, too. Genningsman. A little side by side. There's Medina. Talked about him earlier. Alex Carr there too. So,
3 wide.
Woo, this is the aggressiveness we was talking about early on. Get what you can get. A little pushing. Medina looks like that car's a little bit tight. You see it kind of traveling up the track there a little bit. He had to chase it.
A little bit, and I think they're going to stay 3 wide here through 1 and 2. Dylan all the way to the wall. Medina in the middle.
Yeah, now he was using that high lane early in his run, and it was paying dividends, and then he went to the low side, and it wasn't. So hopefully he's, kind of, adjusted a little bit, corrected that issue. Up here in 6 right now. We'll see what he's gotten. Meanwhile, big battle, man, for these guys up here with Mark Sanchez, Alex Carr, Latham, Bruce Mocker up there too.
Clore's got to look at his mirror and saying, please keep doing this.
Yeah, loving it. Because he's just walking off into the sunset right now. You got Genningsman, who was able to get, out of that pack a little bit, run on his own. Now you see Alex Carr able to get out. Bruce Marker's still going to sit to that high side there with Mark Sanchez. You see Latham there in the mix. Gruschmacher now goes down a little bit low. Let's see how well that car handles, which his tires are still new at this point. They have a little more wear on them last time, but
is he going to close the door? He is.
Woo, get a little bump on the back stretch.
And that's the battle, and that's one of the battles for the tournament box is Gruschmacher versus Alex.
Okay.
So he saw that bright purple 21 and was like, I need to be in front of him.
So the car right there looks, a lot more stable. Obviously, we'll tell when the laps, kind of go down, because he was looking pretty fast on that high side coming through. We talk about how the things change just right here. Overcast to sun, the different parts of the track. You can see it beautifully right there. And coming around the turn here, 3 and 4, you're all in the sunset. Looks like right there you go in some shade. That can change the setup, change how the heat and all goes through the tires and whatnot. And that's why you got to keep on top of it.
There's never exactly, this track is going to be like this perfectly. Yeah. It's light overcast. There's not really clouds across the track. You got maybe this one little tiny dark spot. Well, that one little tiny dark spot, I mean, you're all of a sudden going from tight to snap and loose, and you're facing backwards.
That's it. Dave Hughes up here, man, up 8 spots in seventh place, running really good. His pit stop wasn't the best, a little bit slow, but he's able to make up for it here on the track. Sanchez falls back to 8th. Gardner right there holding the 9th with Hyatt in 10th. Talk about Cole Macheski. Remember, he had pitted right there before that caution. Got a lap down. Still maintaining there in the 12th along with Vincent, too. Vincent was the one of the, those two guys. Their front ends look pretty darn good. There is no fast fix here, right?
There's not.
It's awful. Heck of a fixing.
It might have only been a little bit of damage, not as much as we thought it was.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a little bit there. That front end kind of with Vincent's car. Just looks pretty clean. It looks pretty clean from front and back. Okay. You can see, on Vincent's, if you look, kind of right there at that was it looks like the left front. Kind of see it still maybe knocked in there just a little bit. Looks like he's winking on the one eye right there. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of how much do you think you only need to make your car to where it's going to be able to run very, very good and not perfect.
Yeah.
Because if you can get it to where it's very good and you're able to still make good time, which Vincent kind of looks like he is. He's only about, granted, he's also fighting through a lot of traffic, only off by about 3.5, 4 tenths from the leader.
Yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't say that's bad.
No, I mean, his last lap was a 93. It was a 53 up there to chlorine him. So you're right. I mean, with that little damage, and like I say, fight through the traffic, not bad at all. I mean, Chlor has a full track ahead of him, nothing there. He's got, Gruschmacher is kind of running him down a little bit. But we saw this the last run before that car kind of stepped out. Car hanging on right there. That's Alex's car hanging on into the third. Genningsman, man, having a good run here tonight. Hanging on strong.
Yeah, we typically talk about him having to come up through the field, and you mentioned it pre-race as his whole, here comes the 48. He is flying right now. But Genningsman, typically one of the guys we watch come up through the field, and he always has great finishing positions. We just want him to qualify better. He did that today. Hopefully going to be able to keep the car up there.
And Medina, man, who's just had an up and down season, a lot of times just gets caught up in a bad mess. Right now doing pretty darn good, up 12 spots here in the 4th place. He's using that outside lane. Remember, Gruschmacher was able to use that early. And right now, this is all Medina. They're looking strong, firing the 4th place spot. You talked about it, man. Alex Carr, Gruschmacher in that battle for the admin box in-season tournament. Now, this is not the actual championship, folks. I mean, we've got another Actually, we got about another,
6 races, I think.
Yeah, well, only about 9 to go because we got to go all the way to June 20th. 21st, I believe, is the last race. So we about a month and a half of racing right. Actually, about 2 more months here, and we will crown a champion here in the Master Series, and I know along with the Truck Series also. But this is the in-season tournament. It's the admin box in-season tournament right now. Justin Boyles, Cole Macheski. Now that's a big one right there because you got Cole Macheski sitting in 12th, and Boyles unfortunately back here in the 19th place spot. And excuse me, I mixed that up. Cole Macheski. Boyles was the one who got the damage on the front end. Yeah, there we go. Cole Macheski just got caught on pit cycles and got the lap down. But Boyles is the one who got ran in along with what was it?
Sumter and Benson.
Yeah. My bad there, folks, on that one. And so that's just unfortunate because you could just see that damage hurting. I thought they weren't going to be able to bang out all that. That front end looked like it was smashed in pretty good. Got a good battle going on right here, but that's a 10th place spot. It's usually, we always call that the Hornet's Nest. It's usually where we have a lot of battles happening at.
I'd still say that's true, though. For the most part, it seems like we're kind of singled out.
Yeah, you still see them right there. Maybe 40-2. Those two guys been going at each other. I was trying to, let's see if I can't. If I can't get y'all a little bit of update on points wise of what we're looking at. As of Bristol is what it's saying right now. As of Bristol, I went to their standings. It's saying Shane Clore points lead. Let me make sure that's right. Yeah. Cole Macheski sitting in second with Hammond's third, Carr fourth, and Alex Carr fifth. Bruce Mocker there in sixth, Vincent seventh, Boylston eighth, Holloman ninth, and Michael Tucker sitting there in the 10th. That's as of April 12th. Bristol race as of last week. So after tonight, we'll have to see what kind of happens. You mentioned Kansas. See here. All right, Kansas. Cole Macheski put it on pole here, and Grusmacher was the one who won it. So, I mean, take it back here, Wes. Look who's coming up front right now, Grusmacher. So, he obviously has something figured out with this track, and won it last time. Sitting to try to make it a clean sweep here this season.
That's exactly what he's looking for. He was looking forward to this when he saw it in the admin tournament. So when he saw he was still in the winner's bracket when this race came up, he's like, I think I'm going to be fine advancing past that. I just want to know who's going to be in the final.
Absolutely. Right now, man, looking really strong. Now, Shane Clore winning last week at Bristol. I mean, he's had a pretty good season, 2 wins on, actually 3 wins on the season so far. Clore's really had a strong one, which has put him in the position of why he's leading the points as of right now.
Clore's one of the more consistent drivers that we've seen every single week. Doesn't always qualify good. Sometimes, like Ginningsman, he's got to pull it up through the field. But he always has great finishes. We always tend to see him at the front end of the race.
Yeah. And, just kind of just bringing up that stuff right there, folks, because we are winding down, getting, towards the end of the season here, and things are going to start heating up as guys, man, will start, battling for, positions and whatnot. Now, the admin box tournament race, the last one, I'm going to say AT, is actually the end of May, and that's going to be at Nashville. It says if needed. That's what it says. So it could be Charlotte, the race before it, but we'll have to see. And then obviously the season finale. Now, maybe you correct me wrong because I'm not seeing anywhere here that tells me different. Are we going to have a chase format, or is it just straight through points?
It is straight points.
Okay. Cool. I just want to. Well, I don't want to give the wrong answer out there because I'm looking at the schedule here, folks. I'm looking at all the data and whatnot, and it's showing. It's not showing like, hey, look, championship starts. So, with that said, now to me, you just mentioned it a minute ago. We've got Talladega, Texas. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 9 races left. As a straight points wise, and when I was looking right there with how far out Clore is, which is showing Clore with 575, Cole Macheski with 532. Now's the time where you really want to start picking it up, thinking about, okay, because if you keep letting Clore just win, or like what you said, keep having those great finishes week in and week out. Yeah, I mean, and, unfortunately for Cole Macheski right now, he's back here in 9th. This would be a stinger if Clore won it here tonight, too.
It would be a little bit of a hindrance, but you've also said we've got 9 more races.
We do, yeah.
Is that including today or after today?
That's after today, yeah.
So 9 more after today. There could be a moment where Clore just goes on an absolute run of stinker finishes. I'm not wishing that on him.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that is a possibility. We have seen it in NASCAR itself where drivers have gone on a whoa, someone just popped the wall there.
Yeah, we've seen that all night long. Guys getting up on really close, start hitting that wall just a little bit. But you're right. I mean, without being a chase style format here and just straight through full points, which is, kind of cool because it kind of brings it back to the old school way. Clore's going to have to maintain that consistency. Sure, he'd probably love to win every race from here on out, but if he finishes top 10 from here on out, very hard Cole Macheski to catch, especially if he finishes top 5 or more. So I'm like you. Clore could have some bad runs. Anything can happen. It's racing. We've seen it a million times.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you, difference between first place points and 10th place points, 24.
Yeah, it's not a lot. Yeah, it is close. I'm not going to give it to Clore, but like what you said, being very consistent. And I'm an old school person before the chase and all. Consistency wins championships. I mean, yes, winning races, unless you just win every race in the season, which to me has never been done. But I've seen guys win a multitude of races in a season, still lose a championship because, like what you said, bad races that they've had. And the other ones just maintain a consistency, maybe win 1 or 2 here, and then just dead on top 10s, top 5s all the time. So I'm old school, but with the chase format, obviously it's it's a whole different thing. I still feel like you could be very consistent in the chase and almost probably come out of that thing and win.
I completely agree with you there. I want to say someone that's been able to work through different iterations of the championship, as you want to call it, whether it was flat Winston points, the chase for the cup, or the playoff series, Jimmy Johnson. He was able to adapt.
Right.
Some of those seasons, he's just very consistent. Even if it was the playoff format and he was able to do second, or in that top 10 to get to that final race and just showed he was the best car. Other times it was just consistency through the season. And on the flip side, you can have somebody who has amazing consistency, whether it's flat points or a chase style or a playoff format. And then it's just that one race or somebody has just a little bit better consistency than them can get the championship. And with that, the greatest runner-up, I'd say, is Mark Martin.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate on his career when we look at, real style racing and whatnot. So, yeah, I mean, obviously it's known he's run it up twice, I think, in championships, been close right there at the end, but just, couldn't do it, and so forth and so on. But hopefully we'll see what happens. I mean, Cole Macheski right now, he's one of the closest, excuse me, one of the closest there. And like what you said, obviously next week is a real wild card race. We talked about Bristol last week being kind of a wild card race. This one here to me is more of a setup driver style race. Not so much, I'm going to say, like a wild card. When I say wild card, I mean anybody could win, anything can happen style tracks. Bristol's definitely one of those. But we go to Talladega next week, and that is definitely, I mean, in real life, even on iRacing, it produces the most first-time winners ever. And when I talk about qualifying there, I say it's just more for bragging rights than anything.
Yeah, qualifying is definitely bragging rights at a super speedway, whether it's Daytona, Talladega, or modern Atlanta, even back when early in its repave. Now it's kind of become a little bit more towards you need to let off, you need to know lines and stuff. It's kind of gone back to the old 2000s, 2010s Atlanta, where it was all about like being fast, but also having that kind of technique and driver skill. Not saying super speedways and plate tracks, draft tracks don't take skill. They do. You got to be able to know when to take a run, how your run's going to go and everything.
Yeah.
But I'd say qualifying is definitely bragging rights, and it is a true wild card with the big one around every single lap.
And, we just was talking about points. That might be where, Clora's got to watch it. Could get caught up. It's not usually if, it's when the big one happens at a big track like that next week. So definitely could get caught up. I mean, and then on the flip side, Cole Macheski is another one. And obviously the whole top 10 there needs to watch it, needs some good finishes to come out of it. So we just see Kibbe popping the wall hard right there. It's probably going to give Cole Macheski a run to the outside.
Yeah, Kibbe's done it the last couple laps, so he might have a little bit of damage. That's getting him tight on corner exit.
Yeah, it's like Cole Macheski's going to make that pass. Giddings going to still run good run here in the 7th. And obviously, they're going to have to make another. We're past halfway in this one here tonight. They're going to have to make, I'm going to say at least one more pit stop. They pitted at 61. I think they can go. They'll obviously have to go at least to lap 30 or at least 29. I'm going to say lap 132 to 135. Excuse me, my bad. 140 to 145.
I'm going to tell you that might be a little bit hard. I got 2 drivers on boards. I like to follow along with a couple of our drivers if they're streaming. One of them, the leader, Shane Clora, I'm watching him right now. He's got little over 24 laps left in the fuel tank.
So all right, I'm gonna retract on that. So we might have to see two more pit stops here, unless we get late caution or whatnot. We've got a good free, looks like a free caution, running race here. Only had just the one, early on. So right now, guys looking pretty strong. Grussmacher right now has kind of got up the floor and kind of just a stalemate between the two.
Yeah, at one point, Medini even got to the rear of that 38 car of Grussmacher, but he's since kind of fallen back now. He's had Alex Carr get past him.
Yeah, Cole Macheski's right there with him too, man. Carr. So we talked about what does Clore do. Obviously, I don't know what changes he made, if he changed any. Definitely the right changes right now.
Yeah, and it's also, we were talking about how the cloud cover and the sunlight changes everything. Well, it's kind of changed from when we talked about it. Now it's right down this whole backstretch. Both corners are a little bit in darkness. 3 and 4 are a little less than 1 and 2, but
Yeah.
that's not exactly going to sit right with your car. And it seems like you even got the darkness kind of breaks apart through the front stretch as well. So your car is probably feeling different things every single lap. And you can't make an adjustment for every single little bit of it.
No.
You've got to make one and stick with it.
Hey, and you're absolutely right there. That's something that, can drive a crewman, a driver crazy. To see Cole Macheski making the pass right there on Medina. It could drive them crazy because, like what you said, you can only go, okay, I can only give you one or the other. Which side of the track? Normally they're going to pick 3 and 4 because that's where you're coming for the win. If can you give me a little bit good on 1 and 2, but give me great on 3 and 4, kind of what the driver's going to beg for. The crewman's going to be like, yeah, well, I'll see what I can do. Yeah, it's about all he's going to come back with.
And talking about taking different, turns you'd rather have the adjustment on, I think a great couple of tracks to show that, would be Darlington and Gateway.
Yeah.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 on both those tracks are complete opposites from each other. And then the big one, Pocono, all 3 turns are different.
Oh, yeah, Pocono. Now, that one's probably really, really a tough one when it comes to set up, along with road course racing, too, which usually you set them up kind of neutral there, either tight or loose. But Pocono, you're right. It's 3 entirely different turns, and you're pretty much going to ask, okay, give me great in one and kind of get me to where I can drive the other ones. They've done a great job over the years, setups and stuff for to go out of here. But it's unlike a track like this, maybe, or a Charlotte or Atlanta or Texas, where they call those the cookie cutter track, so to speak.
Yep.
I mean, every turn, they're pretty much the same. What they have to deal with is what you just mentioned earlier: is the cloud cover in one, hotness in the other, slick on one side, maybe tight on the other. Which turn do you want a little bit better? But easier to, I don't want to, lack of a better word, I'm going to say easier to set up for than what you said at Darlington or a Pocono or whatnot.
Yeah, I'd say it might be a little easier with the cookie cutter tracks, just because it's kind of a mirror across. Now, there might be a slight difference in 1 degree in the banking and such, or this turn might just be a little bit longer and wider than this one. Kentucky, I think, probably is the example of that one. Even though it is classified as the cookie cutter 1.5 miles, I think 3 and 4 are a little flatter and longer than 1 and 2. But yeah, it's kind of easier to set up for these because you can kind of say, hey, this is what I feel with this one. This is what I feel with this one. Get me I'm about 90% too tight, or 1% too tight through 1 and 2, 2% too tight through 3 and 4. Loosen it up for 3 and 4 to be perfect, and I can manage 1 and 2.
Well, right now, Alex Carr's trying to manage, see if he can't get around Grussmacher. Grussmacher right now is going to that top side. He had a phenomenal car. Looks like he did do some adjustments on it. Over the back there, you can just see right there, those cars want to tend to get a little bit tight coming out of the turn. That kind of pushes them up to that wall. We've had a pretty good solid race here tonight, man, at Kansas. He's doing that typical Kansas line right there, running that high side.
That Larson line, as many have called it in recent days, in recent years.
I don't know about you, man, Wes, but when I drove I did not like top side track.
I hate it.
Yeah, I don't like getting near that wall. Middle, low, sure, I'll do it in the middle, but when you got to get way up there, I just do not like it. I can't judge how close I am. I just can't do it. I end up hitting it.
I'm also going to tell you, this show, I also race V8 supercars around some of these ovals, and I can see how close I am to the wall, so I feel a little bit more comfortable running the wall in those.
Okay.
Can't tell you where I am on the bottom, though.
Yeah, it's crazy. Man, you see Grussmacher right there. He did bump the wall a little bit, but able to hang on, man, and still drive right past a car. And that just kind of tells you how much these tires fall off on that low line is when that high lane can still be able to do that. And who is that? That's a lap car coming up on him. A little bit newer tires.
Yeah, Holloman, he's already been in for his second pit stop, so looking to get his lap back, I believe.
Yes, he is. Unfortunately, back in 21st right now.
One of his 2 laps back, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I got caught up in a little earlier there, but car kind of backs off a little bit, maybe cool the tires down, get maybe another run, or just getting set up for his pit stop here and whatnot. He tried it and said, okay, what I need to do to maybe get around, Grusmacher, and able to do it. Maybe I'll just sit back here and ride and wait till we go back on pit road here.
Yeah, and I think we're a lot of time, and I hate to say it's always a pit-based race.
Yeah.
A lot of time to be made or lost is going to be on pit road, whether or not that's you're slow on pit road, you skid through a box, you get a penalty. Not just that, but how much earlier or later you come in to the cars around you.
Well,
So if you come in earlier by maybe 1 or 2 laps, you're on fresher tires for those 1 or 2 laps. That can give you, Holloman right now, he's got 30 and a halves to almost 31. So that's half a tenth of a second. You can gain that on the fresh tires. But then on the flip side, they've also now might be able to go 1 or 2 laps longer than you can.
And that's a perfect example right there of what I was talking about earlier. Yeah, he's got about 40-some lap newer tires. His last lap was a 54 to a 31 flat. He's running not quite a half a second. And that's what I was mentioning before. If you're so far back and you lose so much track position, is it worth taking those new tires because you're just going to run out of time to try to get back to the front? So, it kind of tells me that, yeah, if you're maybe only going to drop back maybe 10th or so, take them. If you're going to be back there around about that 16th, 20th spot with about 30 or 40 to go, I don't know. I think track position at that point might be very crucial. We'll just have to see how it plays out, but Grusmacher right now falling back to 3rd. But you also, on the flip side of that, there's another one here. Look at Komacheski. He pitted at 57. Remember, he couldn't come in for that the caution because he had to get the wave around. So he's on lap 57 tires, as opposed to everybody else on lap 61. He ran a 24 to an 06, so maybe 2/10 off the leader. Not bad for, I don't know, 5 lap different tires or whatnot.
Just about. Holloman, I do want to say on his part, he was one of the first ones, I believe, to come down during the first pit cycle before it got interrupted by that caution. I think he came around like 48 to 50 or so.
Okay.
So he might have been towards the end of a fuel run to where his tank was empty.
Yeah. Okay.
So he also got put a lap down, had to take the wave around, so he couldn't pit. So he kind of needed to come in.
Wow. And another thing you got to look at too is how fast is Komacheski's on pit road now. We saw this earlier, which he's probably going to, this is kind of scheduled for him because he was about a couple laps, like I said, about 5 laps earlier than these guys up front. You got to look at the fall off. How fast is the fall off of this track right now? Clore's running at an 07. We were looking at Holloman. He's running at 03. So he went from a half a second a couple laps ago to now only being not even a 10th. I don't know if the tire fall off is that bad or not, but he ran an 80 that time to an 09, but still you can start to see how that tire fall, and that's what I was getting at. Would the trade-off of new tires, because every driver's going to say, oh yeah, new tires are always going to be faster. They are, but when I talk in a sense race to race, and when I say that track position trumps tires, is the trade-off of you getting new tires and the track position, are you going to be able to make that up in time? And a lot of times, unfortunately, on iRacing, it just don't seem like that it works out. There's very few tracks here west that I don't know that tires really, really, really matter.
And there are some where tires, yes, I'd say they would matter more. which tend to be your short tracks like Bristol or a Dover or Richmond in Iowa. But then it's not so much the track position as in like air. It's more how many cars are going to be in front of you and slower than you.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, in some of those smaller tracks can be a little treacherous to get around, but you're right. Those are some of the tracks that tend, where tires are there. You see now, Clore, leader on pit road, so coming down on pit road lap 125, and that's still going to put him 75. So let's see if we can do some math. He came in at 61. I'm going to just round it back to 60, so it'll be 40. 65. So roughly 64 laps he went. Ooh, he's going to be right there on that window to try to make it just one stop. I got a feeling they got to come back in one more time at least.
I think they are. It's going to, unless, we've seen it where guys have tried to fuel save, heavily to keep it from going one other stop. And I think one of the most, I won't say egregious, but the most aggressive fuel saving strategy we've seen. So I think it was Auto Club, I believe, and somebody was fully turning the car off through the corners.
Yeah. We've seen it throughout the season. We've seen it in real life too. I'm not taking away, because if you do the math, Genningsman's still out here. He pitted at 61 also. He's still out here. Obviously the further he goes, even if he can make it to lap 130, that's still 70 laps. That puts him within a couple laps of where his total, as we're looking at right now, around about 65, 66 laps. He's going to be close. Genningsman, Latham, and Sanchez up there, they're going to be close. They're now obviously all this is, if caution comes out, you might as well throw it out the window, but the way I'm looking at it right here, Genningsman might be looking for one pit stop just by way up. That'd be the only reason why I'd say he's staying out.
Looking for a pit stop, right, maybe for a lucky caution.
Look at that right there.
Yep, shutting the car off.
Yeah, he shut it off, clutched to one there, so he is definitely. He doesn't look all the way full speed down straightaway there. Now finally got the red line, but let's see if he does in this turn.
Not there.
Because he doesn't really, he obviously, unless it's green, white, checkered, he really only looking at about maybe 2-3 laps that he's going to have to get here. Maybe even one. Not very much now. Right there. Looks like he's coming in now. So he's going to be right on it. That's what Latham's doing here. Latham comes in this time. Latham's going to stay out one more time. He's the last one to pit here. Car looks very stable. Yeah, he clutched it right there for a short moment. Easy out of the turn. Just look how.
I think Latham's coming in this time. Really low on the backstretch.
He's clutched it all the way through that.
Yeah, he's going to be all the way on the pit road.
Is he out of fuel?
Not sure if he was or not.
Is he out of fuel? He might be out of fuel. He's out of fuel. Car's not running. I don't think it's running. I don't know.
All the way empty.
From the way it looks, it didn't look like it was, but I don't know. He went pretty good. From that right there, and from where he pitted before, him and Genningsman might be the two to look at. Genningsman actually came back out and still in 8th spot. So didn't really lose a ton of track position. And is only about 10 seconds back from Kolmacheski. If this thing goes green, he's 5 laps to the good on Clore, 4 laps to the good on Carr. Unless Clure and them are really going to save fuel. I don't know. Cole Macheski, I believe, is going to have to come in. He pitted at lap 121. I don't see him making it. That's 70.
And I'm
that's
just
over
trying to
75 laps, ain't it?
Yeah, I'm just trying to do math here from what I can see between drivers based off what they have showing for their fuel life and such. It's going to be about 15 or so laps short. That's if they just fully push and don't try to save. Now, you can save maybe, I don't know, depending on how you do it. You might be able to save 5 or so laps, 10 laps, but I don't think they'd be able to save everything.
Went 70 laps, actually 69 laps before he pitted. And right now, if he saves, he has to go 70. Interesting.
It's going to be interesting if this goes green all the way. I agree with you.
Yeah, and that's... And then we get into the conversation of when do you start saving? Do you save now or do you push now? Obviously, we're here with Clure. I'm curious. I want to see what his car looks like going down these straightaways at RPM. I remember when we was watching on a Ginningsman. It didn't go as high as I thought. Okay.
Nah, he's not all the way maxed out there, and he's following right behind Cole Macheski in the 69.
I think he probably will here. It's a little longer straightaway here. So yeah, he gets kind of maxed out. He's also probably getting a draft off of Cole Macheski. He's definitely not saving in the turn. So right now, he's definitely not saving. The car looks very, very stable. He's not fighting that thing one bit at all.
No, he looks very smooth and in control.
Yeah. Cole Macheski out front right now. Yeah, these cars looking very, very stable. Yeah, I'm also curious. We talked about cars from the past, the Gen 6, maybe even before that. With this one, one of the huge changes, along with obviously the redesign of the car, was transmissions. Used to be H-pattern 4 speeds. Now it's sequential 5 speeds. I'm wondering what that did for fuel mileage. I would think it would have increased it slightly. I mean, it's a still race car, but I would think with that 5th gear, that should be close. I mean, it's not going to be an overdrive like it would be in your normal street car. But it had to push the 4th gear to 1-to-1, and the 5th is going to be a little bit under that. What it would have done to fuel mileage, if any, if they just basically changed 1, 2, 3 differently to make up short gain speed, and then kind of left 4th and 5th like it used to be with 3rd and 4th.
I'd love to tell you, but I don't think I got an answer for that one.
You know what? And that is something that I have not heard, even in real life or even on iRacing. Really, any of the tech guys ever talk about over the years. They talked about how they went to sequential shifters and how they changed and went to the 5th speed from the H pattern 4 speed. But none of them ever really mentioned how fuel wise, or if that affected fuel wise or any. And even when they went to the full fuel injection on these cars, which has been quite a while back, but still never really, I know the cars run, or the motors were more efficient than what they did, but they never mentioned much about how that might have picked up fuel. If it did, it might not have. It might actually balance itself out. They might just, the gearing and the transmissions, they just, okay, great, we've got a little bit more takeoff speed now because we've got 1, 2, 3, the lower gear that we can use and whatnot. So Yeah, interesting scientific tech talk. But this looks like it's going to come down close to a fuel mileage style race if it goes green.
And a lot of people say they don't like that type of races. I'll tell you, I like them.
You know, it's racing. I'm with you there, Wes. Racing is all about, you know, managing tires and all. Unless you're on a short track where it's just all wide open, you know, it's racing. You know, sometimes you've got to manage that stuff.
I believe one of the most controversial, in air quotes, if I can say it, finishes to ever be fuel mileage was the Coke 600 when Austin Dillon had over Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch called him out saying that he won it on fuel mileage and it shouldn't have counted. But I'd say the complete opposite. Winning the 600 on fuel mileage, I think, is more impressive than winning it on pure speed.
Yeah, you know, I can go with the fuel mileage wins in racing, whether it be iRacing here at Master Series or anywhere else, because it's a strategy style call. I mean, it's just like how you have your car set up, managing your tires. Rain on the other end, I'm mixed with that one. You know, I'm like, come on, you know. But I get it, you know, they can't just, well, we've got to set a halfway point or whatnot, and you know, we can't just do a whole another event the next day and finish it. So, but rain's a whole different subject. But yeah, I'm with you on because road racing is a lot about, you know, tire and fuel and pit stops and so forth too. I mean, we're not drag racing. Drag racing, you know, it's wide open, peer out. You know, forget about fuel. I mean, whoever can put the horsepower to the ground, you know, that's that one. So, I mean, yeah, and here, yes, you know, it's whoever, you know, has the fastest car, you know, obviously, but it's not always the fastest car. You got to have those strategies. Put yourself in the right position, the right time, and like you said, right pit stop, right strategy, right setup. And you know, right now, I think this man here, he's got a good fuel strategy setup, I think, or you know, he's got a good strategy going. We'll just have to see how well it plays out. I mean, he's 13 seconds back from Cole Macheski, which is not bad. Now, if Cole Macheski and him have to pit, they shouldn't have to fill it all the way up. You know,
no, splash and go.
Yeah, it's not going to be like that. It's all going to be dependent on whether or not they're going to want tires. Now, tires will be screaming by the end of this and how long they go with that. So, if I knew I'm going to be short by 3 or 4 laps and I couldn't save it, then probably within the next, I'm going to say 20 laps or so, 25 laps, I'm coming on pit road because I want to have at least enough time. And this goes back to that. If you do tires, obviously having enough time to catch back up, not getting too far behind. I want to be able to have enough time to be able to catch back up to maybe possibly put myself back in and win this thing.
And I'd say even with the splash and go, that's going to be just for maintaining the position you are. Because pit lane time, you're looking, once you take, if it's not a pit stalls, just a straight drive through of pit lane, it's about 30 seconds.
Yep.
So even if you're putting a splash, which is maybe 2 to 5 seconds, that's 35 seconds, which is longer than a lap around this track.
And that's what I'm saying. So you've got you've got to look and say, okay, I can't just come in with 20 or 15 laps to go. I never catch back up. You know, so I got to look at, all right, it's going to take me. I might need 30. Heck, I might need 35 more laps to go. I mean, like Joe Bender right here, or John Bender, John Bender coming on pit road early. So if I know I'm going to be short, it might be something to come in here very soon. But I'll tell you what, folks, it's been a really good one here tonight. Kansas right now, that man out front, Cole Macheski, leading it. And he's looking to see if he can't hang on. Well, we're going to step away, take a quick break. Man, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome to Team Red, White, and Blue. Thank you so much for joining our team. My name is Mike Irwin, and I have the honor to serve as the Executive Director. When I founded Team RWB in 2010, our initial focus centered on veteran transition and reintegration into civilian life. But as the large-scale deployments have slowed down, the military's ability to support reintegration has improved, hundreds of thousands of veterans have used their GI Bill, and companies have prioritized hiring veterans, the overall mental, physical, and emotional health of the veteran community still has a long way to go. And Team RWB has a major leadership role to play. And that means that we need you. We need you to close out this video and to know that you didn't just join a listserv or download an app. You joined a team composed of real people, over 200,000 strong, who are veterans on active duty in the National Guard or Reserves or civilian supporters. And these people, who we refer to as the Eagles, want you to get involved in Team RWB. Why is it so important for you to become an active member of the team? Because when you do, we know that it will improve your mental and physical health, help you to develop new and meaningful relationships in your life, and provide you with a sense of purpose that comes from belonging to something bigger than yourself. Over the past decade, veterans struggling with the invisible wounds of war and post-military life have told us how important physical fitness has been to them. Running has helped veterans battle nightmares. Triathlons have helped with headaches, and CrossFit has enabled them to sleep better. These fitness activities, along with others, have made them more confident and healthy people. Unfortunately, millions of veterans have forgotten about the power of physical training in their lives. So as you get involved and see the power of Team RWB in your own life, I hope that you feel inspired to reach out to other veterans and encourage them to follow in your footsteps. In closing, I want to again thank you for stepping forward and joining Team Red, White, and Blue. We're fired up to have you on the team, and I know that you're going to be flying the Eagle with pride for a long time.
Hi, I'm Blaine Smith, the Executive Director of Team Red, White, and Blue, and I want to take a minute just to welcome you on board and let you know that we're proud to have you as a new member of our team. This short video is a way for us to give you an idea of what you can expect from your experience at Team Red, White, and Blue, and also what we expect from you in return. Something that's really, really important to the fabric of our organization is our Eagle ethos. It's just 6 words, but they mean a lot to us, and they guide us in all we do. Those 6 words, passion, positivity, people, commitment, camaraderie, and community, are more than just organizational values. They're what we're all about and what we strive to work for in all of our programs and in every single one of our interactions. The next thing I want you to know is that we are an inclusive organization by design. We're open to veterans of all eras, of all ages, branches of service, combat experience, as well as active duty service members, their families, their friends, and just supportive members of the community that come out and take part in our mission. Every single person is important to what we do. All are welcome, and we look forward to seeing you all out there.
And then if you want to, just a little bit about how the foundation helped you.
You know, I was in a pretty serious deal, as most people know about. It's a pretty tough deal, very traumatic for my family. A lot of stuff that we went through that people would never understand. Without the assistance from the Steve King Foundation and several other donors as well, we could have come out of that thing in financial ruin. But it just takes a lot out of your family just to go through rehabilitation, all the medical bills. There's so many hidden expenses and stuff that you would never know about until you actually get involved in something like that. And even if you help somebody out with 500 or 1,000 or 100, whatever it is, it means a ton to the person, just to be able to live and to get through these things. It takes an ungodly amount of money, time, effort, patience, with the families, the doctors, to be able to get through a traumatic experience. And, with the Steve King Foundation, that makes everything a lot better.
There's an immeasurable bond that forms when you join the service. You'll do anything to protect and defend those at your side, and pushing the limits of your well-being is all just part of the job. But when this shared experience ends, it's easy to carry that mission-first mindset with you and neglect your own health and mental fitness. Team Red, White, and Blue understands these challenges and knows that together we can show veterans that their best days are ahead by providing opportunities to build healthier lifestyles right where they live and work. Through races, service projects, workouts, and a cutting-edge mobile app, our members develop a sense of camaraderie and mutual support. With a growing force of over 200,000 strong, we invite all veterans, families, and non-military supporters to start putting their well-being first. Team Red, White, and Blue is forging America's leading health and wellness community. Will you join the team?
All right, welcome back, folks, here, and so we're getting down close here, lap 165 here. See what's going to happen, who's going to stay out, who's not. Cole Macheski right now still leading this thing. We've been talking about
Core's right to his, wiggle from him as well as Core got to his inside, though.
Yeah, he's right on board. Is he saving? Let's see. I mean, not bad on the floor, I mean, but, well, he's hitting that wall. Yeah, looks like he's still on throttle. Well, that's not a good way to save fuel.
Nope. I wouldn't say it is.
You know what? And let's go back into Genningsman. Yeah, well, there you go. That answered our question there. We just saw it flash. He is saving. He is not pitting again.
No, and even the lap times are telling you you're looking at 30.9s to a 31.3 last time around. Yep. He's gonna try to make it all the way to the end the best he can. Yep. And right there just kind of tells the tale with those two. What it has done is put, I mean, it is a 20-second difference between Clore and Cole Macheski. I really feel if those two can't make it all the way, within the next couple laps, I was about to say it, within the next couple laps, you come on pit road, and I think this is a good call by Cole Macheski. Come now. That's what Drew said. It's going to take 30-some seconds just to even get in and off pit road, not including even that he might as well take tires twice here. And I'd be interested, does he just fill it up with fuels at 2? Is it 4?
Well, right now, let's see.
Well, it's not just fuel.
He's at 7 seconds, 8 seconds, 9, 10. He's going for full fuel. He's going for full pit stop. Now the question. I don't know. That's going to be tough because now he's going to be 20 seconds or more back from Genningsman. 21, almost 22. Yeah, he'll be running faster. 23 seconds. Okay. Now, obviously, a caution would help him. Now, right now, if he was to get the lucky dog, it would definitely help him. But okay, so we've got what? 39 to go.
Yeah, and I'm hearing over radios people are calling that they're gonna pit. So a lot of these guys not able to make it. As Grutzmacher there, he is on pit road.
Yeah, I think Genningsman, as of right now, has the best strategy out here. As long as he doesn't run out of fuel with 1 to go. He's 20. He is. Let me see how far he's 21 seconds back from Cole Macheski. And yes, Cole Macheski is going to run way quicker. Not as quick as I thought. He ran a 29.82 to, yeah. He ran in the second and a half. It's about normal. I don't know. This is going to be a close one. This is going to be close. If it's not a winning move for Ginningman, it's definitely going to get him in that top 5.
It will be, and now everybody's got to be perfect on their pit stops as well.
Yes.
Because this is the money stop. This is your final pit stop. You got to make it perfect.
And we go back to, Ginningman right now is in that admin box. He's going up against Jorgensen, who unfortunately...
I don't see him here today.
Yeah, not here, so he's pretty much going to get a pass no matter what. On into the next round, which could put him against whoever loses against Boyles and Kolmacheski. And as of right now,
it's looking like Boyles.
Looking like Boyles, yeah. Unfortunately, Boyles, who got caught up in that incident early on and got the damage. So Kolmacheski's looking strong. Kolmacheski is coming on. That last lap was a 30.24 to a 30.76. So that's what I'm talking about. How much does the tire fall off here, Wes? Because he had a second and a half speed on Ginningman, and now it's down to less than a second.
I cannot tell you about that tire fall off. That half a second in one lap is a little absurd.
Yeah, I mean, because if he just because at this point he needs seconds. Yeah, he's only 16 back, and if you do the math, we've still got 25 laps to go. He could still do it on a half-second run, but the more it's going, the more fall off he is. Plus, he's got to go through lap traffic, like this right here, battling with Medina a little bit, going through it. That's going to slow him down a little bit. Ginningman, meanwhile, is out here just all alone. But let's go back on board here and see if he is still. I'm just curious if he's still. Let's watch him going into this turn here. We know Kolmacheski's not at all, so. Yep, he's still in fuel saving mode, so that's going to help Kolmacheski right there. Clore, try with him a minute here. Is he might be coming on pit road now. Let's watch him. Is he no? I don't. There's no way Clore can make it all the way. 75 laps. You think he can?
I don't think so. I don't think Clore's, and I mean, we're looking at what Ginningman has to do to save to make it.
Now,
Clore would have been having to do that since he basically come on track, I would think.
Okay, and I'm telling y'all wrong out there too, folks, and Wes, my apologies. Kolmacheski is a lap down. So when I said he's only 15 seconds back, wrong.
No, 15. He is 15 back from Ginningman.
But he's still a lap down.
He's still a lap down, but I think everybody, well,
he's got to make it all the way around the track again to catch him. Is what I'm getting at.
No, he does not. He's the only lead lap car ahead of him on track fully right now is Clore. So once he gets past Clore, he'll be on the lead lap, and he's only 17 behind Ginningman. That's how I'm reading SDK, at least.
Well, he's a lap down. Ginningman's on the lead lap. Kolmacheski's going to have to pass Clore, Clore is now coming into turn one. Kolmacheski is actually just passed and coming into turn 1 himself. And he's going to get to Clore and pass him, but he's still got to go all the way back around the track. You follow me?
Yeah, for the lead, yes.
Guess it's confusing because he's a lap down. We'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. I'm surprised. Clore and Medina are the only two that have yet to pit. Now, Sanchez came in at 128. Clore planning to stay out?
He might be trying to save,
but it's.
but I don't think I don't think he's got enough. He might just be trying to run it till empty.
But yeah,
hoping
because
for a
it's
caution.
But it's, yeah, and at some point that's the only thing that you. Because if he pits now, he's not winning. There's no way he'll go a lap down, even if he did a small stop. But then it wouldn't benefit him because the tires would be so old. So I'm like, yeah, I think he's. There comes Medina. Yeah, there's no way Clore makes it. He's waiting on a caution, hoping for a caution.
I'm gonna keep my mouth quiet about that case.
Yeah. I mean, I am too. Every time I say something, then boom, there comes one. But, I mean, right now we've got 5 on the lead lap. Medina will go a lap down. As you see it right there, actually. So we've got 4 cars on the lead lap. Clore, Latham, Ginningsman, and Sanchez. And actually, we're talking about Ginningsman. Latham right now sitting in front of Ginningsman. So, yeah.
Latham doing the same thing.
Yeah. Man, Wes, I don't know. There's a head scratcher here.
It's a whole bunch of number crunching and trying to do all this calculating, and I'll tell you what, I can't do it very well off the top of my head right now.
Yeah, and I like it. Some people, like you said, some people don't like it. I like it because this right here is kind of an unknown. Who's going to win? Can Clore make it all the way? Now, Sanchez actually made it around Ginningsman there. You know, can Latham hang on to this thing and win it? That's.
And the 3 of them, they're right on top of each other as well.
Yeah, you see it right there. There's Latham. Sanchez actually is going to look to his outside. Sanchez, another one there. Ginningsman's there. But at this point, Clore's not coming in because, I mean, if he comes in now, his race is over. It's that old saying, you made your bed, you lay in it. And at this point, he's got what he's got. But we've seen no indication every time we went on board with him that he is saving. I don't know. So you got another tank on there somewhere we don't know about? He's on pit road.
Well, I think, yep, there's your answer. He's in the pits now.
See, I don't. Man, Kolmacheski's going to make. There he goes. He gets on. I just don't. Oh. So the race is going to be between these 4. Sanchez just ran a 94. Kolmacheski only ran a 75. That's only 2/10. 2/10 is not going to gain 6.8 seconds. Kolmacheski still needs half seconds. He ran a 30.86 to 31.21 to Latham and Ginningsman. He might be able to catch him, but that's going to be close for Kolmacheski also with about 10 to go. I didn't believe those tires fell off that quick there, Wes. Wow.
I didn't think so, and I'm also going to tell you, Clore, he didn't take all 4. He only took rights.
Okay. Well, that's going to get him back out in 8th. That'll still put him 13 seconds back from those leaders. It's just not enough time unless, I mean, he definitely need, almost 2 seconds a lap just to get up there. But Cole Macheski's the one we've been watching, and his last lap was a 30.81, even to the leaders 31.09. That's 0.3, and it's 6.2 seconds to Sanchez. There's no way Cole Macheski at this pace can catch him. Time will run out, and that's exactly what we talk about. You just never know. Well,
there's Sanchez in the pit lane. I know he's been pushing recently.
Yeah,
we know
okay,
Giddings been a saving.
Yeah.
We're not sure about Latham.
Oh, we're flip flopping here, ain't we? I mean,
just a little bit.
5.7. I mean, this is what see people talk about not liking fuel mileage races, but this right here. Now, Giddings actually is in a pretty good spot because he can sit back there and save fuel and run that draft right off the back end of Latham. It's still a 5.5 second gap, 8 laps to go. Problem is Cole Macheski that last time only ran, let's see when he crosses the line this time. It's an 18 to a 92. So that's 1.8, about 3/10 is what he's averaging. Let's do a little calculation of math. He's 5.4 seconds back, 3/10. That's. I don't think he's got enough time.
17 laps is what it would take.
Yeah, and folks, this is why I look at the numbers and times. People always say, well, Joe, you're not in the car. He's faster. He's going to catch. You've got to look at what it takes. And when you watch it enough over the years, you'll see what kind of time. Now, he gained pretty good right there. He went to 4.9. Got a feeling these two men up here are stretching on fuel. Let's watch and see. Yeah, they're cutting it off.
Yeah, Latham, he's cutting it off as well.
This might be the one thing that will probably help Cole Macheski. He's down to 4.6. If they're having to save an astronomical amount of fuel, because that last time he did pick up 0.4 on him. 6 to go. If he can knock a half a second off a lap or more, still tight. But he could get there.
And it's not just Cole Macheski that's catching on him either. He's got Grootsmacher, Carr, and even Clore is closing in on him.
Yeah, I see Grootsmacher there. He ran a 30.82 to a 31 flat that last time there. It was only about 0.2 with Latham and Genningsman, again with Cole Macheski, but Grootsmacher is about 0.2 faster than Cole Macheski. He's 1.6 seconds back. That's his only issue is he's pretty far. He needs to probably pick up about 0.4 or get the draft there, Cole Macheski. That would help Latham and Genningsman if those two started battling. Really, really tough. Obviously, you've got Carr, Clore. Clore looks like he might be able to get up out of Carr. Carr maybe can get up to Grootsmacher, maybe battle with them. I'm still curious here. It's down to 3.8 seconds here with Latham and Genningsman. At this point, I don't think Genningsman has enough to make the pass on Latham. So he's probably going to have to settle for either second or third at this point.
If it does come, I'd say it's going to be the very last lap, very final corner.
And remember, they're right there on being a lap, the 2 laps short. So they've had to save. Cole Macheski's just not going to be able to run them down time.
No,
these guys would have to run out of
flag.
fuel. Yeah, they'd have to run out of fuel here on the last lap, which I've seen happen. But they almost could coast down this back stretch at this point. Latham could. with a 3.8 second gap. We'll see where Grussmacher is. Grussmacher's not going to be able to catch him either. So Latham is going to hang on and win this thing. Fuel strategy race along with awesome run there with Genningsman. And Cole Macheski, man, coming home in third. Wow. What a finish.
And
I like
typically they go and burn it out, but I don't think the 18's got enough gas
I
to
don't
do
know.
it.
I'm with you. Let's just curiosity go on board. I think it's done. Yeah, car's off. Is out of fuel? Yeah. His victory lap's going to be parking it. Wow. I like it. I liked it. Yeah, strategy. There you go. Now, you know, Latham and Genningsman were teammates. So working together helped them out.
Probably.
Wow. That's... Man, Wes, that was wild. I like that. Let's bring up old
It
Cole
was
Macheski.
a fun experience.
Yes. Let's bring up Cole Macheski. Let's get a word with him.
Hey, Thomas, it's Wesley and Joe up in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you guys.
Well, interesting finish to the race. I'd say it all came down to fuel strategy and such. You were closing in on them, but just didn't have enough time. How much longer do you think you would have needed to get them?
I probably would have needed like another 5 or 6 laps maybe. I used my tires up pretty quick there after that pit stop.
That was one thing Joe and I were discussing. We noticed how quickly tires fell off. Was it just you used them too much, or was the fall off from the drop of the green?
I was just hitting it as hard as I could, trying to gain as much time as possible.
Well, you got it down to within 4 seconds. I don't think anybody can say anything bad about that, just based off having to come down to get gas. We said it was roughly about 65 laps on a full tank. So if you had to save it once you made your final pit stop, it was gonna have to be straight from the offset and such. Is that kind of what you were seeing?
Yeah, on the last pit stop before the final one. I would have had to been saving from the get go, and I can't. I can't. I like going fast sometimes.
Hey, we all like going fast, but even talking about strategies, did you have one coming in just based on of what we've had recently with a lot of long green flag runnings and then a caution at the end? Were you thinking there might have been a chance for one, or were you planning on this all going green?
Lately, races have been really clean, and so I've been planning on the long green flag runs, just trying to keep the tires under me as long as I can, and sometimes I can, sometimes I can't, and just trying to maximize every opportunity.
Well, I know Wes has been kind of feeling under the weather there, but hey, Cole Macheski, I tell you what, you answered a little bit ago about that tire wear, because that's something we were talking about there, and I mean the drop off was so huge, but I guess like you said, running that thing hard. When you made the pit stop, though, did you think you were going to have enough time? Because that's what I talk about a lot of times: the trade off between new tires and the time it takes to run a guy down.
Yeah, I was debating on going for a few laps before that if I would have enough time or not. Plus, I wasn't sure that they could make it. Turns out they could. So maybe it plays out a little different if I don't run as hard as I come out the pits, but it is what it is.
Hey, man, I tell you what, still a heck of a night. Got up there, got up front, led some laps, had a good one. Got anybody you want to thank?
I'd like to thank everyone at Team Watson, all my teammates that showed up tonight. It was fun.
Hey, there you go. That's old Thomas Kolmacheski bringing it home in third. I'm bringing this man up here, man. Genningsman, join the booth. Got a copy?
Yep, I got you.
Well, man, I tell you what, we talk about you a lot of times on the qualifying side, and then we see you coming through the field. Tonight you had a great qualifying effort, but most importantly, the fuel saving there, man, was outstanding. At what point did you say or think, because I know your teammate there, Latham, did maybe y'all work together and say, okay, we can save this kind of fuel and win this thing?
Yeah, honestly, we did it before the race even started because really with the fuel, you could 3-stop it and go 50, 100, 150, or you could try to make it to 67, 68. So we originally did that from the start, and I think Clover was going to do that too, and a bunch of people put it on 50. So when the caution came out right around 65, it pretty much left that same opportunity open to just do a 1-stop instead of 2-stopping to the end of the race. So really, we were kind of on the ball with that before the race even started. And then, yeah, I knew it was going to be close. I thought Kolmacheski was going to get us, but he didn't quite have enough to get there. I think Clore maybe didn't fit soon enough, hoping to get the yellow. But yeah, I just wish I'd saved one lap more on the front side because I was a quarter of a lap short of making it the one extra lap Tim did, and then I had to save a little bit too much that second run. But yeah, it was definitely a strategy we kind of gambled on, and luckily it paid off. We both made it.
It definitely was interesting up here on the booth to watch because we just didn't know. It's like, man, I was on edge and just watching to see if y'all two can make it. We was watching y'all through it in the car, shutting it off and so forth, going through the different laps and whatnot. You mentioned Kolmacheski, and we talked to him just a second ago because on your end, now obviously you were saving fuel a lot of times, but he pushed that car so hard the tire fall off. He came out of the pits. He had like almost a 2-second, speed difference on y'all. But then all of a sudden that thing dropped down to about a half second to 3/4 of a second. He said he ran so hard that he used the tires. Did you feel that any time during the race that the tires were falling off really bad?
Not really, because obviously with Tim and I saving from lap 1 of the race, we never really pushed them. I know I kind of saw what some other people did that first run because we were saving fuel part of the run, so we kind of dropped back a handful of spots, and then at the end of the run, even saving fuel, we ran back down some of the guys who are still pushing, going to make that extra stop. But the only thing I really felt tight was because we were saving, the balance was so much different than being full throttle that my right front took a lot of abuse. But otherwise, I guess from my perspective, never really, the way strategy played out, never pushed the car to 100%.
Well, pushing or not, paid off for you tonight. Got you second place, got you the win there in the admin box also tonight. Got anybody you want to thank for a good second place finish?
Yeah, definitely want to thank everybody at Legacy Esports and Reaper Speed Lab and Majors Garage for the good setup, and then thank Tim for running a good race. He kind of helped me there, towing me at the end a little bit, giving me a good draft to make sure I made it, and then just want to thank everybody for a nice clean race tonight. That a strategy like that's able to work because it's a pretty big gamble trying to go 140 laps for the yellow. I think there were some people who saved their cars or hit the wall and to bring it to yellow. So I want to thank everybody for a clean race, and then thank you guys for broadcasting, and thank all the admins for putting on the league.
Well, there you go. Chad Genningsman bringing her home in second tonight, but Latham here saved enough fuel. Tim, join the booth. You got a copy?
I sure do.
Well, man, I tell you what, just talk to your teammate there, man, Genningsman, and he said the strategy y'all had was one that y'all planned from the get-go, and it definitely paid off at the end here for you. But at any point did you think, man, I don't know, this might not work?
Yeah, I mean, we had our doubts whenever that first caution came out because it was right there at that window where we thought we weren't going to make it. But we saved enough to at least get us to our goal was lap 131. I got to 132, or the end of 131. And Chad couldn't save as much as I could there without, falling back because he definitely wouldn't have had enough to win if he'd have stayed in front of me. So, we were worried about Kolmacheski there at the end. He had just pit at the right time, and we thought he was going to come up and catch us, but he just didn't have enough there at the end. So, we had that plan the whole race. We was hoping it worked out. It worked out perfect. Got us 1-2.
Absolutely. I mean, teammate-wise, man, good strategy here tonight. We talked to Kolmacheski down there because tire wear was something we was also looking at too. He said he ran it so hard because when he did come out of the pits, he ran like a 1.5 seconds, almost two seconds faster But then that tire just kind of just chopped off down about a half second. He said he just ran them hard. I asked Genningsman if y'all had any issues with that, and he said y'all were just saving so much that you didn't really see much. How about yourself? Did you see any?
Yeah, I mean, it did wear a little bit. The car did slow down towards the end of the run, but the balance stayed pretty much the same where we were saving and not pushing. So that definitely helped not get either super tight or super loose. We already had kind of a loose setup to begin with, and we were unsure if the weather was going to get hotter or colder. It ended up getting colder, so that kind of worked to our benefit. But yeah, we didn't really see too much tire wear, and especially in that second to last run there, where the track temp started going down. It didn't really change the car too much at all, really.
Strategy or not, man, y'all came home and had it played out perfect tonight, got the win. You got anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Rep Sports Raise Energy, for letting me do this. This is really fun. I'm glad to be one of their affiliates. Yeah, use code Temptation for 15% off on repsports.com if you want to place an order. And it's glad to formally meet you guys up in the booth. This is the first interview, and it's a win. So, this late in the season, I'm surprised that we got a win this late, but I'm glad we finally got one.
Hey, a win's a win. Like you say, no matter what, got up front tonight. Again, congratulations on it.
All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
There you go. Timothy Latham, man, bringing it home. We looked at the final results, and what a race, man. Wes, to me, that was exciting because we just did not know if Cole Macheski had enough to catch those guys. A little bit short. You heard it from him, about 5 or 6 laps there on it. But, man, what a heck of a team effort there between Genningsman and Latham to bring this thing home tonight.
Yeah, I completely agree. And the fact they saw that they were looking at every single possible strategy before the race as well. Saw they could go either 50 laps split into perfect quarters or try to split it into thirds with only 2 stops. And they saw what they wanted to do. They went with it, and it paid off for them.
Absolutely. Folks, man, I hope you enjoyed it. For myself and everyone here at the Spartan Sim Racing League Master Series, it was a good one, and we're going to leave Kansas here tonight. We got Talladega next week. That's going to be a wild one. But everyone, have a good night.